All right, so headlines have alternated, right, from Elon Musk to the Donald Trump nuking Speaker Mike Johnson. But the fact of the matter is that there was organic pushback from members of Congress who, by the way, remember the American voters and what they demanded just a month ago? Among them, my next guest, joining us now, Indiana Congresswoman Victoria Spartz. Representative, this is a headline that stood out to me yesterday. Just then, GOP Representative Victoria Spartz shred Speaker Johnson over the bogus spending bill, accusing him of conspiring with Democrats to make, quote, a bunch of slush funds. And you called it absolutely criminal. Walk us through why.
Well, listen, not just me. I think Elon Musk called it criminal too, because, I mean, it's terrible when you have a last-second bill with over 1,000 of pages and not even time to know what it is. You don't even need to know what it is. You know that it's full of pork, full of handouts, and truly full of corruption. And that's how this place has been governing. And I think American people send us a very resounding message. They're tired of it. And if my party is going to be appeased in the swamp and not governing for the people, then we will not be in Congress for very long, and I think that we will deserve that treatment. But I'm glad to see we have more fighters now stepping up, and President Trump and Elon actually made a stand on that. So that was very powerful. You know,
1,500 pages to your point, and you used the word corrupt stuff. It's amazing some of the things they were trying to push by I guess the American public, and everyone down there must be so used to just rubber stamping these things because no one's going to read 1,500 pages. And then I think the part of it, like this whole Christmas tree thing, you get something, I get something. And by the time you're done with all this horse trading, nothing really gets resolved for the American people, right?
Well, yeah, the challenge is they're not even good at whipping. They just whip Democrats and didn't even talk to Republicans, even to moderates. So even moderates were upset about it. They didn't get anything in that Christmas tree. It was totally handed out to Chuck Schumer, so they got a lot of upset Republicans, so couldn't get through. But ultimately, if you continue something, you know, for the next 3 months, it would take you 5 words, not 1,500 pages to continue. So obviously, you can say it's not just a clean CR.
Right.
It's a lot of pork.
Let's talk about the debt ceiling for a moment. Now, President-elect Trump saying, you know, maybe we ditch it. Think about this. I want the public to understand that it's a debt ceiling, right? It's a ceiling. We're not supposed to go above it. Since 1960, we've gone above it 78 times. And by the way, 49 times were Republicans. I mean, what do you say about something that was put in to make sure that you guys had discipline, and every time it's just shattered? And then it makes it worse because it becomes something where people can trade stuff back and forth.
Well, President Trump is very correct on this because it's all just grandstanding, and no one even has a plan how to deal with it. And we need to work on a plan. I talked almost 2 years ago when we started the Congress and when we had last debt ceiling increase, I said, well, let's have at least some kind of a task force or commission. Let's have a discussion because we'll have next debt ceiling increase in 25. We'll have no plan.
Right.
Well, guess what? They did not want it because Biden started telling that he will attack McCarthy, and Schumer started attacking him, and McCarthy folded. We couldn't even have a discussion on that. So President Trump is right. I mean, it's not meaningful. We're not even having a serious discussion.
I want to switch gears just a quick before I let you go, because you were born in Ukraine. You understand what's happening in Europe. I happen to believe that America dodged the bullet on Election Day. The question, though, is it too late for Europe to save itself?
Well, listen, I think Europeans maybe not started getting the memo that they need to be serious. And, you know, what they're doing, a lot of messaging and mismanaging, well, you know what? That's a national security issue for them. And I think we need to be much tougher. We helped Europe a lot, and we'll be helping, but they need to step up because it is in their national security not to be dependent on Russian gas, not to appease China, and actually, you know, provide some help to Ukraine directly. And they haven't been doing that. And they think that American people, you know, will continue, will picking up the slack for them. So I think, you know, they waking up, but we'll see how if it's too late or not, because the situation is very serious, you know, and I'm glad we have some tough people and people that President Trump appointed are tough people, because we need to deter China, Russia, and Iran, but we need to be smart.
Yeah, and I think the key is really to turn those economies around. And to your point about the American public, Europeans seem to be getting it, but the elites seem to be pushing back. Congresswoman, thank you so much. Always appreciate your passion and your fight.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All righty.